See, it's true that the kitchen is where you make those bigger design statements that you might not make everywhere else.
Yeah.
And then it kind of leads. It can, in that case, and in most cases, it ends up leading to bringing that color scheme throughout your house. So I think there's a reason why we spend a lot of our design dollars in the kitchen, right?
It's where everybody is, and no one ever wants to leave. You know, when you're entertaining people and you're like, you need a moment to just get things together. No one's going to leave your kitchen. So make sure you spend all the money in the kitchen, because that's where everyone's going to hang out all the time.
Absolutely.
So you're going to show us an island makeover. The island makeover we saw was absolutely beautiful. It makes it more of a showpiece. Yeah. The island in the kitchens now are just, they dominate the space.
Exactly. They used to just be functional, but I think there are definitely a lot more than that.
So if you want to level up your island, the first thing, of course, Sharon is going to say is paint it.
Of course. I mean, that is the super simple way. Even just painting it a different color than the rest of the kitchen, it's going to draw your eye to it, right?
Yes.
And it's going to really change the space. Just like when you wear a lipstick, different color lipstick, it changes your outfit. So think of it in that way, that it can really become an accent. And changing the color, obviously you can do any color, but I have some really great photos of a really typical builder white kitchen where they painted the island and the end cap red, caliente.
Oh, that looks good.
Right? So
warms it right up.
It warms it right up, makes a big difference. And then one of my all-time favorite Benjamin Moore photos of a kitchen, this one has been around for a while and I absolutely love it, a teal island in a beautiful sort of country white kitchen, and that I think it's called Caribbean blue water.
That is nice.
And the combo with the yellow and the teal, it's like it just makes you really happy and joyful, and that's how you want to feel. Yeah. If you're, you know, hanging out in the kitchen a little too long.
Yeah, for sure. You're washing those dishes, it better be cute around me, right?
Yes.
So when you say it's the best picture you've ever seen, and you've been at Benjamin Moore for how many years, I usually perk up and pay attention. Like, you love that kitchen.
I love that because it's simple. It really shows how it's just the color that changes it. I'm sure it's a beautiful island, but the color is what really draws your eye.
Pops.
And actually, that's an easy DIY thing for people to do. We spend a lot of money in our kitchen, but you don't have to elevate the look if you're just looking for a change. So I show painting kitchen cabinets all the time on Cityline. So it's the same idea if you're painting your island, whether it's wood or it's laminate, you've got to do all that prep. You've got to prime, you want to clean, you want to sand, and then you want to prime.
Right.
So if it's laminate especially, you want to use a super sticky primer, like a bonding primer like Sticks.
Yep.
And then you got to make sure you use a paint that's made for cabinets. So not just your wall paint on this. You want it to be more durable. So I always love Benjamin Moore's Advanced, the waterborne alkyd, because I love the finish on it. And then if you want something purely acrylic, the cabinet coat is a great option, and you can get any color.
Yes, because we're thinking there's going to be oil splashing.
Well, exactly.
There will be pasta sauce around. So if you're just using regular wall paint, it's not going to give you the barrier you need for your kitchen. Kitchens get messy, and they should.
Exactly. So yeah, you really want to pay attention to that, but then you can choose any color you want, and there you go. It's a weekend project. If you're doing the whole kitchen, you might want to get a professional.
Yes.
But
she's looking at me because she knows there's no way I'm doing that myself. Okay, I'm picking up the phone. Boop, 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 boop. Please come and do my kitchen island. Okay, now if you don't want to do paint, let's talk tiles.
Yes.
I just think tiling looks so gorgeous.
There's so many beautiful options now, right? Like, you get inspired by what you might do on your backsplash, but why not consider tiling the base of the island as an accent piece? So there's so many options. I picked some really beautiful ones that I fell in love with, that Euro tile, and they just remind me of my trips to Portugal and Italy. So I really wanted to bring that in, and you can imagine, again, if you can tile yourself, go for it. You can do this, a lot of texture. Yeah. But you can also paint the look of tile, Trace. If you look down on the other side of the island there,
look at this.
I use stencils.
That is absolutely stunning. And if you look at it, I mean, this is an actual tile.
That looks so much like it from here.
Yeah, you should absolutely be patting yourself in the back right now, Sharon Grech. Look at what she did. So she took a stencil and did basically the same thing you get from a tile. And I'll throw in, these are heavy.
They're heavy.
And they have to be installed.
They do.
It might be nice to do something that's paint if you've got a steady hand.
If it's a DIY, you can totally do it yourself. And again, I use Blue Nova, so I use Benjamin Moore's Color of the Year, because I thought it would look fantastic with white dove. But of course, you can use any other color.
Yeah, absolutely. So here are the stencils, and they stick on, and so that you guys just have to give it a bit of time for it to dry, right?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, so tiling, a lovely thing to do, but what about beadboard?
So beadboard is another inexpensive way to add some texture. You can get 4x8 sheets at most big box stores, so you could easily wrap the entire island. I painted ours with Polar Sky to bring a nice sort of pastel, fresh feel into the into the pretend kitchen that we're designing here.
Yes, it is absolutely gorgeous, and there's just something very coastal about that look.
The color, right?
The
and the
beadboard
look,
and
you're right.
the color.
It's
yeah,
the
there's
texture.
something about it. I love the texture of that.
So really, really simple.
Okay, so moving right along, let's talk patterns because there's just something about herringbone. Bring it on for backsplash, for tile, for wood,
for flooring,
hardwood,
right?
Anything.
It's definitely having a moment.
Beautiful. It never goes out of style.
No, it's true. It's
never wrong.
And I think we're seeing it with wood and floors and people doing interesting things with it. But I thought it would be really fun to do for an island to get that sophisticated texture. But you might need a carpenter for this one. Like this is not your average DIY. But we just used MDF. Quarter-inch MDF, cut it down into strips, and you can see then you can paint it.
Nice.
And by painting it Regent Green, it becomes very sophisticated. It looks like a really gorgeous panel. And again, once you use the MDF, you could cut it into just bricks and you could stack it. You could do all sorts of different patterns. But, you know, it's the color, I think, that really makes it fancy, too.
It is the color that makes it fancy. Okay, you've got a little bit more for us as well because you did something beautiful in your kitchen, didn't you?
In my kitchen, when I did it last year, Trace, I don't know if you remember, but the island, I used these really beautiful walnut hexagon tiles that I bought on Etsy. This is a great DIY project. They'll help you sort of get them cut, you know, the size that you need, or if you're handy, you can do that yourself. They come in PVC, different colors. There's some metallics. So again, I just did that as an accent on the bottom of the island.
I love it.
And then I painted the rest of the cabinet with ashwood moss.
Yes.
Oh, the rest of the kitchen with ashwood moss. So it was a nice contrast. And it's about that color, the texture, the dimension that draws your eye to that island. So it's not just functional.
I love the dimension of it. So you can see certain pieces popping out because they're all different depths.
They're all different depths.
Yeah,
exactly.
Which is so nice.
So it was a fun sort of jigsaw project.
Love that. Okay, now you know how to elevate your island, and Sharon wants to help you all spruce up your kitchen, so you're all going to take home a $100 Benjamin Moore gift card.